Hello everyone, welcome to Macbeth Act 3 Scene 4. So we're going to delve deep into the line by line explanation. Before that, let's first discuss the summary of this scene. So Macbeth Act 3 Scene 4 takes place in the hall in the palace. So the scene starts with Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are present at the feast, and during which the first murderer comes and informs Macbeth that Banquo has died. Macbeth is in relief, but he gets furious when he comes to know that Fleance has escaped. Then he starts musing about the consequences of such a scenario. Then, when he comes back to the table, he sees the ghost of Banquo sitting on the chair. Macbeth is horrified and he starts speaking to the ghost. Lady Macbeth urges him to be normal because none of them are able to see Banquo's ghost except him, and everyone starts questioning as to what has happened to Macbeth. That is when Lady Macbeth defends Macbeth and says that Macbeth is not well and he keeps having such fit. Then Lady Macbeth tells Macbeth that it is just another hallucination that he is having and he should come out of it. Then the ghost leaves. And Macbeth is normal again, but unfortunately the ghost appears again and Macbeth has an outburst again. That is when Lady Macbeth appeals to all the guests to leave. And then the ghost disappears again. Then Macbeth tells Lady Macbeth that he has heard from a servant spy that Macduff is staying away from the court. So he decides to inquire about that and also visit the witches because he wants to know what the future holds and who his potential enemies will be. And Lady Macbeth tells Macbeth that he now needs to sleep and take rest. So this is a gist of what happens in this scene, and now let's go into the detailed line by line explanation. So as mentioned before, scene 4 takes place in a hall in the palace. The banquet is prepared for all the guests. Enter Macbeth as king, Lady Macbeth as queen. Then there is Ross, Lennox, lords and other attendants. Macbeth says, "You know your own degree. Sit down." At first and last, the hearty welcome. So he tells the attendants of the party, "You all know your ranks, so you know where you should sit. So sit down from the highest rank to the lowest rank, that is according to the degree of importance. And I extend a warm welcome to you all." The lords sit, then they say, "Thanks to your majesty." Thank you, your majesty. Macbeth says, "Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host." So I am going to mingle with all of you and play the part of a humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome. So Macbeth says that our hostess, who is that? Lady Macbeth, she will stay at the royal throne, and when the time is appropriate, she will welcome you all. Lady Macbeth says, "Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome. So on my behalf, please deliver my welcome, because they are all welcome in my heart." Macbeth says, "See, they encounter thee with their hearts' thanks." So he's saying they are also responding to you with their hearts as well, and they say thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. So since both the sides are full, I will sit here in the middle. The first murderer enters the hall. "Be large in mid, anon will drink a measure." The table round. So Macbeth says, "Be lavish, be free, be happy, and soon we'll drink a large goblet full of wine. So soon we'll toast around the table. So Macbeth goes to the first murderer and says, "There's blood upon your face." So there's blood on your face. So murderer says, "It is Banquo's then." Macbeth says, "It's better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?" So he says, "I rather see his blood being splashed over your face than the blood coursing through his veins or flowing through his veins." Is he dispatched means, did you kill him? Is he finished? Murderer says, "My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him." So his throat is cut and I did that to him. Macbeth says, "Thou art the best of the cutthroats, yet he is good. That did the like of Lean's. If thou did it, thou art the non-perils." So Macbeth tells the murderer, "You are the best of the cutthroats, but whoever did the same for Fleance must also be good. If you are the person who killed Fleance also, then you are the absolute best. There isn't anyone who is parallel to you." The murderer says, "Most royal sir, Fleance is escaped." So he gives Macbeth the shock of his life, saying that Fleance has escaped. Macbeth says, "Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect." So here comes my anxiety again. Otherwise, I would have been perfect because I would have been happy. I would have been relieved. But now I'm going to have anxiety again. Whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. So he's saying if Leanne had died along with Banquo, then I would have been as solid as the marble, as firm as a rock, and I would be free and unconfined as the air that is surrounding us. Casing us means surrounding us. So I would be free without any worry. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound in to saucy doubts and fears. So he's saying now because I came to know that Fleance has escaped, I am now cabined, means I am not free anymore. I am confined, I am bound in doubts and fears. But he's asking, Banquo is taken care of, right? Taken care of means he has died, right? He's just confirming. The murderer says, "Ay, my good lord," means yes, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he bides. So he is lying dead and he's safe in a ditch with 20 stretched gashes on his head. So I have made 20 deep gashes on his head. The least a death to nature. So even if any one of it also would be there, it would be enough to kill him. So the least of which would also have killed him. But I have given him 20 deep gashes on his head. Macbeth says, "Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worms that's fled." So he's comparing Banquo to a grown serpent and he's saying that the adult snake is lying in the ditch, but the worm, who is Fleance, he has escaped. Hath nature that in time will venom breed. So as time passes, that little worm that has fled will also breed poison, will become poisonous and threatening. No teeth for the present. So at present it does not have any fangs to be poisonous. But in very soon, Fleance will also be dangerous. Get thee gone. So go now. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again. So we'll meet again and the murderer exits. Lady Macbeth says, "My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold. That is not often vouched while it's a making. It's give with welcome to feed were best at home." So now Lady Macbeth is coming and telling Macbeth, "You're not entertaining the guest, my lord. You are not making the guest feel welcome." So she's saying that is not often vouched means if you don't make it regularly clear that you are welcome, then they will feel that it was best that they were at home and they would eat their meal at home. From whence the sauce to meat is ceremony, meeting were bare without it. So if you are eating with people and hosting a feast, then it requires a little more ceremony for you to make them feel welcome every now and then, because it acts as an extra sauce for the meat. Otherwise, the meeting would be boring without it, would be bare without it. Macbeth says, "Sweet remembrancer." So, remembrancer is the one who reminds oneself of his duty. So, she has become the remembrancer where she is reminding him of his duty. Now, good digestion wait on appetite and health on both. So, since good digestion depends on an appetite and good health requires both a good digestion as well as a good appetite. He says, "Here's to good appetite, good digestion and good health." And now Lennox is saying, "May please your highness sit." So, your highness, why don't you have a seat? But by then what happens? The ghost of Banquo enters and sits in Macbeth's place. So Macbeth says, "Here had we now our country's honor roofed, were the grace person of our Banquo present." So Macbeth is saying, if Banquo was present here, we would have all the honor or the nobility of Scotland under one roof. Who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance? So he's saying that I hope I can scold him for rudeness. What rudeness has he done? For being late. Than to pity him because something bad has happened to him. Ross says, his absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. So what is Ross saying? That his absence means that he has broken his promise to come on time. Please sit, your highness, to grace us with your royal company. So why don't you sit with us and grace us with your royal company? But what does Macbeth see? He sees Banquo's ghost and he says the table's full. But Lennox says, here is a place reserved, sir. And Macbeth is asking, where? Lennox is saying, here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness? So he is asking, what is disturbing you, your highness? And Macbeth is asking, which of you have done this? Sir, all the lords, they are confused. And they are asking, what? My good lord, what are you talking about? Macbeth says, thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me. So Macbeth is now talking to the ghost and he's saying, no, you can't say I did it. And don't shake your gory locks. So why is the head gory? Because he had 20 gashes on his head, if you remember. And his hair now, hair means the locks. The hair is matted with blood. So he's saying that don't shake your bloody head looking at me. And Ross says, gentlemen, rise. His Highness is not well. So he asks everyone to stand up because they believe that something is wrong with Macbeth. So Lady Macbeth now intervenes and she says, sit, worthy friends. No, don't stand, sit. My lord is often thus. So this happens frequently to him. and hath been from his youth. So since his childhood, he has this problem. Pray you, keep seat. So I'm asking you, please keep seated. The fit is momentary, so it is temporary, it will pass. Upon a thought, he will again be well. So within a moment, he will be fine again. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. So what is she saying? If you pay too much attention to him, then it will prolong his fit or convulsions. So please don't pay any attention to him and just eat. And then she's asking Macbeth, are you a man? So Macbeth is saying, yes, and a bold one. So I'm a bold man that dare look on that which might appall the devil. So I am a brave man who dares to look at something that would even scare or frighten the devil. Lady Macbeth says, oh, proper stuff. Means she's saying, oh, utter nonsense. This is the very painting of your fear. So she's saying this is just another hallucination that you have when you get scared. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. So just like how you saw a floating dagger that was leading you towards Duncan, which was a hallucination, this is also just an hallucination. She says, oh, these flaws and starts, they are the imposters to true fear. So these outbursts that you keep having, it cannot be compared to real fear. Would well become a woman's story in a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. She's saying this is more like how you would act if a woman was telling a scary story by the fireplace in front of her grandmother. Shame itself. She's saying, shame on you. Why do you make such faces? When's all done, you look but on a stool. So she's saying, shame on you. Why are you making such faces? When your hallucination passes, you will come to know that you are looking only but on a stool. So except for Macbeth, no one is able to see the ghost of Banquo. So she is saying this is just your hallucination, and when it passes, you will come to know that it is just a stool. So that is when Macbeth says, prithee, see there, please see there, behold, look. How say you? Why, what care I if thou canst nod, speak too? So he is talking to the ghost now and saying, how say you means what would you like to say? And then he says, what do I care? So he says, if you can nod your head, then you can also speak. Then he says, if charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the mouths of kites. So after the people die, they are dug in graves, right? So he is saying that if the dead are going to return from their graves, then we might not as well bury anyone and let the birds eat them. So charnel house is a building where corpses or bones are piled up. So what he means to say is if charnel houses and graves are not keeping the bones there or the dead there, but sending those people back, then why bury them? We might as well let the birds, those are the kites, they mob on the dead bodies. And after this, the ghost disappears. So now Lady Macbeth is saying, what? Quite unmanned in folly means, has your foolishness destroyed your manhood or what? Macbeth is saying, if I stand here, I saw him. So as sure as I'm standing here, he's saying, I saw him. So Lady Macbeth is saying, fee for shame, means shame on you. Macbeth says, blood hath been shed here now in the olden times. So he's saying in ancient times, before there were laws to make land safe, a lot of blood was spilt. Here, humans Stature purged the gentle wheel. So, before civilized laws were introduced in the society, there were murders and a lot of bloodshed. And since then, too, after these laws have come, murders have been performed. Too terrible for the year. The time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die. And there an end. But now they rise again. So, what is Macbeth trying to tell here? He's trying to say before civilized laws were introduced to make the land gentle and peaceful, there was lot of bloodshed and murders were performed that was too terrible to, which was even terrible for the years, means too terrible to even talk about, that years did not have the capacity to listen to these terrible murders. But during that time, when a man's brain was knocked out, the man would die and there would be an end. But now, even if a person's brain was taken out, or even if he is murdered, they will rise again. With 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is. So even now, if they have 20 fatal wounds on their head, so who has 20 fatal wounds? Banco. So even if Banco has 20 fatal wounds on his head, they still rise from their death and push us off our stool. So if you remember, Banco had come and sat on his chair. So that is why he's saying push us from our stools. And this is more strange than murder itself. So, what is more strange? The dead returning is more strange than the original act of murder. Lady Macbeth is telling, my worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you. Means, my worthy lord, your noble friends are missing your company. So Macbeth is saying, I do forget. Oh, I did forget about them. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. So don't be astonished or do not wonder at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity. So he's saying, I have a strange condition which is nothing to those that know me. So this condition is not a shock to others who know me well. But since you all don't know me well, this might come as a shock for you. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. So now he's raising his glass to toast everybody and he's saying, come, let's drink a toast to love and health to you all. And now I will sit down. Give me some wine and fill it full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table. So he's saying, give me wine and fill it full. So fill my cup to the brim. And I am drinking for the general joy of the whole table, or the general happiness of all the people on this table. And to our dear friend Banco, whom we miss. Would he were here to all and him, we thirst and all to all. So he's toasting to everyone on the table and also to their dear friend Banco, whom they miss. And he says that I wish he was here. So let's drink to everybody here and to Banco. So let's drink. The Lords say our duties and the pledge. So they say our toast is to the king and health to all and also to Banco. By then what happens? The ghost re-enters. So what does Macbeth say? Avaunt means go away and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. Let the earth hide you. Go away from here. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. So he's talking to the ghost of Banco and saying, go hide, go into the grave. Your bones are without any bone marrow and your blood is cold now. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with. So he's telling your eyes are staring at me, but they have no power of sight. So Lady Macbeth tells, think of this good Pierce, but as a thing of custom. It is no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time. So Lady Macbeth is saying, dear friends, think of this as a strange habit and nothing else. But the only thing is that it is spoiling the fun or the pleasure that we are having tonight. So Macbeth is saying, what man dare? I dare. So I am as brave as any other man. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the highland tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble or be alive again. So he's saying, approach me like a rugged Russian bear or a rhinoceros. So here armed rhinoceros either can mean that the rhinoceros has a thick hide, or it can mean that the rhinoceros has a horn, so it is armed, or the Highland tiger, so or the Iranian tiger. You take any shape other than the one that you are now, and I will not be nervous or frightened because my nerves will be firm. Come in any other form. Or Macbeth is saying, be alive again. So come back to life and dare me to the desert with thy sword. So he's saying, otherwise come back to life and challenge me to in a deserted island with your sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me, the baby of a girl. Hence horrible shadow, unreal mockery hence. So he's saying, come and challenge me in a desert island with your sword, and if I tremble, then you can call me a little girl. So if I tremble, then or if I get scared, you can mock me as a little girl or a little girl's doll. Hence horrible shadow means you horrible ghost, you hallucination. Get out of here. After Macbeth says this, the ghost disappears. Then Macbeth says, why so being gone? I am a man again. Pray you sit still. So now that it is gone, I am a man again. So please remain seated. Now Lady Macbeth says, you have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder. So you have ruined our fun and broke our meeting by making a spectacle of yourself. And she's saying that with such amazing fit of distraction or behavior, you have ruined tonight. So now Lady Macbeth is furious because he has made a spectacle of himself and destroyed the fun of everyone. Now Macbeth is talking to the guest and he's saying, can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud? So he's asking, can such things exist and overcome a person as suddenly as a summer storm without our special wonder, means without making us all astonished? Can it? So here Macbeth is expressing disbelief and questioning the reality of what he's seeing. So he's saying, just like how a cloud can come during a summer day and cover the sky, the appearance of the ghost was also sudden and quite unexpected. But he's also saying without our special wonder, means saying there is a lack of reaction that Macbeth feels after such a supernatural event, which is seeing a ghost. Then he's telling the guest, you make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear. So he's saying, you all are making me feel that I don't know my own nature, which I thought was that of a brave man. And how come all of you are able to see such sights and keep the natural redness in your skin when I have become pale myself with fear? So he's telling everyone, you're making me question my own nature, my own bravery, because none of you are affected by the sight except for me. So Ross is asking, what sights, my lord? What sights are you talking about? So Lady Macbeth says, I pray you, speak not. He grows worse and worse. Questions enrage him. At once, good night. Stand up not upon the order of your going, but go at once. So now Lady Macbeth is saying, please don't speak to him. He's getting worse and worse. And by asking him more questions, it is only going to enrage him. So she's saying good night to everybody at once. Don't wait to go according to the order of your rank, but just leave right away. Then Lennox says, good night and better health attend his majesty. So, good night and I hope the king recovers soon. Then Lady Macbeth says, a kind good night to all. Everyone exit except for Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Now coming to an important line. Macbeth says, it will have blood. They say blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. So Macbeth is saying it will have blood. So he is saying that there will be bloodshed because there is a saying that blood will have blood. So the dead will definitely have their revenge and will revenge with blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. So it is known that gravestones have been known to move so that they can inform who the guilty men are and reveal the body that the murderer has hidden. And trees will speak to bring justice so that the guilty men are punished. Augurs and understood relations. So augurs are these bad omens which can be observed from the behavior of birds. So these bad omens can be understood by magpies and crows. So all of these mystical signs can expose the most secret or the most craftiest of murders that have been committed. So now Macbeth is saying that he will be punished for what he has done. What is the night? Means how late at night it is. So Lady Macbeth says almost at odds with morning, which is which. So she's saying it is almost morning and you can't really say if it is day or if it is night. Then Macbeth says, how sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding? So he's saying that, what do you think about the fact that Macduff has refused to come to me when I command him? So Lady Macbeth says, did you send to him, sir? Means, did you send for him officially? So Macbeth says, I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house. I keep a servant feed. So he says, I've heard about it indirectly, but I will send for him. So he says that every household has a servant and I spy on them with the help of the servant. So here Macbeth says that he has a spy in Macduff's household. So he says, I will speak tomorrow and betimes I will to the weirdest sister, and meanwhile I will also go to the three weird sisters, so the three witches. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know. By the worst means the worst for mine own good. So he's saying that now I am going to the three witches to know what is going to happen in the future. Even if it is the worst for even me, I want to know that who are my enemies, and I am bent. Means I am determined to know the worst what is going to happen. So he says that it is for my own good, because the only thing that matters now is my own safety. So my own interest is more important than anything else. I am in blood stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go over. So here he's saying that I have walked so far into this river of blood that even if I stop now, it would be hard to go back to being good as it would be to continue further and to keep killing people. So he's saying that now I am midway. Even if I try to go back good, it is going to be as tedious as going forward and doing more evil. Strange things I have in head that will to hand. So he's saying I have some plans in my head that I am planning to put into action, which must be acted here. They may be scanned. So I have to do these things before I have a chance to even think about them. So Lady Macbeth is saying, you lack the season of all natures, sleep. So she's saying that you need rest and the ease that sleep gives. Then Macbeth says, come, we'll go to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed. So he's saying my strange self-delusions are because of my inexperience. Because when it comes to crime and evil, I am still a beginner. That is why he says, we are yet but young indeed. And then the scene ends. This was a really long scene, isn't it? There are many important questions. So stay tuned for all the possible questions from the scene, which would be uploaded soon. All the very best for your exam. Study well.